YouTube, what's the deal, guys? It's your boy Bird Knows Ball coming at you with another video. And guys, yes, if you guys have been watching me for a while, this is a different setup. This is a different look. Guys, I started my streaming journey. All right, I started streaming. I'm streaming almost every day on Twitch. If you guys wanted to, it's literally Bird Knows Ball, just like my YouTube name, everything like that. Go look at me on Twitch. Go subscribe. Go do all that stuff. But guys, today we're not gonna be. That's not the main topic of this video, guys. The main topic of the video today is Michael Malone was fired not even 3 to 4 days ago, and guys, him getting fired is crazy to me because number one, he just won you a championship 2 to 3 years ago, right? Number two, it is 2 weeks before the playoffs start, and guys, I could not see this firing come from 100,000,000 miles away, guys. I couldn't even see if it was in front of my face. I guess that was kind of the better example. I couldn't see it if it was in front of my face, Bryce, guys, because Mike Malone won you a championship 2 to 3 years ago. They are in the playoff race. Like I think what's the seeding right now? Nuggets are 4th in the West right now, and they are only 1 game behind the Lakers. And you decide to fire your head coach, who not only won you a championship 2-3 years ago, whatever it was, and then now he has a team playing very good basketball and is at the 4 seed right now. And yes, I understand they did just win a game yesterday, so maybe that boosted them to the 4 seed. But guys, nonetheless, they are in the playoff run. It's not like they're is gonna have a lottery pick. It's not like they're a bottom 13, 14, 15 team like the Spurs, Pelicans, and the Jazz. No, guys. These guys have a good chance to make a good playoff run especially when you have a guy like Jokic, the best player in the world right now, right? So firing Mike Malone was very, very surprising to say the least. What I would say is, though, I think it had a lot to do not only with the GM and him not liking each other, but it started to seem, reports are starting to come out that say that Mike Malone had some type of better relationship with Westbrook than he did with the other players, and other players were starting to get mad at him. And that kind of does make sense, right? Because the GM, I forgot his name, right here, Calvin Booth. Calvin Booth got fired also. They fired the GM along with Mike Malone, and they said that them two did not like each other whatsoever. They said they hated each other. For the reason being was because Michael Malone wanted to play the veterans, guys like Russell Westbrook. 2 years ago it was Jeff Green, I believe, stuff like that. And Calvin Booth said, hey, I want the guys that I drafted to play. Guys like Pickett, guys like Julian Strawfather. I don't even know how to say his name. Julian, you know who I'm talking about. Julian, right? These two hated each other. And I think what really set it off the top is when Russell Westbrook smoked that layup for Jokic's 61-point game. I think that's what the turning point was in this whole situation. I think that was the cherry on top, because reports came out and said Westbrook wasn't even supposed to be in that game, technically. If Michael Malone paid attention to Calvin Booth's request in playing the younger guys and letting the vet players not play as much and stuff like that, Russell Westbrook wouldn't be in the game to smoke that layup. He wouldn't have been. And yes, do I agree with that part? He shouldn't have not been in the game. If the theory is correct that Calvin Booth wanted his younger guys and the guys that he drafted to play, and if Michael Malone would have listened, yes, of course, Russell Westbrook would not have been in the game. But that's what it was. And guys, like I said, I don't want to put all the blame on Russell Westbrook, because he's been playing better basketball. Yes, him with the Lakers was very bad. I think it kind of ruined his legacy a little bit, because when you think about Russell Westbrook, you don't think about him being a MVP. You don't think about him averaging a triple-double. You don't think about him, being one of the most explosive, if not the explosive guard in the game ever, right? So do I blame Russell Westbrook for this firing? No. Do I blame Michael Malone for this firing? No. I think Michael Malone should get the benefit of the doubt. Not only did he win you a championship, like I said, but he has his team at the 4th seed in a very packed West. This firing is baloney, to say the very least. And one of the biggest question marks now is, did Jokic have anything to do with Michael Malone getting fired? And I'm going to go on a limb and say he did not. I don't think Jokic cares about who coaches the team. I'm going to be honest. He does care about winning, right? But we see this guy when he won MVPs, when he won back-to-back MVPs, when he won a championship, when he won Finals MVP. It seemed like he didn't care. It seemed like he wanted to go back to Serbia and go ride horses. That's what it looked like, right? So I think Jokic was kind of like, I don't think Jokic had anything to do with this firing. I don't think he went to the front office and said, hey, I don't like Michael Malone. We need to get him out. We need to fire him. I don't think that. And a lot of people are going to say, well, the superstar always has a saying in the head coach and the head coach getting fired and the head coach getting hired. Yes, that is correct. But if there's one superstar in the league that does not care who gets fired or who gets hired, it's Jokic. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Jokic did not have anything to do with this hiring. And if we have a look at this article right here, it says Nikola Jokic had been openly frustrated at times in the season. Yes, because it seemed like, any offense had to go through Jokic, which obviously, if you're Jokic, the best player in the league, that's what it's going to have to be sometimes, right? But it goes on to say, but that does not mean that the reigning MVP had a direct role in Denver Nuggets head coach being fired. Yes, guys, this right here, I think Jokic had nothing to do with this firing. I think Jokic had, and like I said, everyone's gonna say, well, the superstar always has a say in who gets fired, who gets hired, who gets drafted or not drafted, who gets signed and stuff like that, who fits with him and shit like that. Guys, I understand that, but if there's one person, one superstar in the whole entire league that does not care about who gets fired, who gets hired, who's playing, it's Nikola Jokic. And I'm gonna go on a limb and say that I don't think Jokic had anything to do with this firing. I just don't understand the timing of the firing. Right, the play-in starts, I don't know, in a week, next Tuesday, right? You fire Michael Malone, and now you're with the interim head coach, and everything's going to stay the same, guys. I don't want you guys to think that just because a coach getting fired and this and that, the GM getting fired and all this stuff, it's not going to change the offense. It's not going to change, how they play or how they play the pick and roll or how they play defense. None of that's going to change, guys. Not only is it not going to change, it's going to stay the same almost, because you can't just fire someone like Michael Malone and be an interim coach whoever stepping up, right? And put your fingerprints on the game. It doesn't work that way. You're going to have to take an off season. You might even have to take the early months of the regular season to really start, implementing your type of play style on offenses and defenses. So is anything going to change with the Nuggets? No. Are they going to be more rejuvenated? Maybe. If the locker room wanted this trade, yes, they will probably be more rejuvenated. And we did see they did beat the Kings 2 nights ago, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a good win for them because they're coming off a firing. Obviously, they need a win like that. Is anything going to change with the offense and the pick and roll with Jokic? No, nothing's going to change. Is the offense going to change? No. Is how they play defense going to change? Probably not, because it takes a while for a team to adapt to a new coach, and kind of, have his fingerprints on the game, how he wants to play it and how he wants to run offense and how he wants to run defense. So nothing's going to change, guys. And for them to fire Michael Malone 2 weeks before the playoffs is very, very shocking to me. Very, very shocking to me. I seen Club 520 talk about this. Jeff Teague made a very good point. He said that the Nuggets wanted to fire Michael Malone way back when, even before he won the championship or after he won the championship. But obviously, when you win the championship, there's no way you get fired, right? But he made a very, very good point. He said that basically they fired Michael Malone right now before the playoffs because if Michael Malone made a deep playoff run, say to the Western Conference Finals or something like that, right? They were not going to be able to fire Michael Malone because everyone's going to be outraged. They're going to be like, hey, he just took us to Western Conference Finals. He just did this. He just, led us into a very good position to not only, win the West out, but almost go to the finals, right? So it makes very, very much sense as to why they fired him, because if he does make a deep playoff run, if he does get to the second round, if he does get to the Western Conference Finals, you can't fire a guy that just took you to the Western Conference Finals. So before, he could make a playoff run, before he could even get a chance to get you to the Western Conference Finals, they fire him. This firing makes no sense. But guys, let me know what you guys think. Did Jokic have anything to do with this? What do you think about the firing? Guys, let me know down below in the comments. Like, subscribe, anything. And like I said, guys, I'm trying to start streaming. That's why we got the different background back here. I stream almost every day around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Central Time, guys. So if you do subscribe to me, if you guys like watching my videos, make sure you go tap in with the streams. I would greatly appreciate it. But guys, let me know what you guys think. But it's been your boy. Peace.